Everyone, I am back. Today we're talking about my favorite podcasts. A bunch of you asked me for my opinion, so I thought it'd be really fun to make a video, and then each season as more podcasts come out, because they are the hot rage, secretly gonna have my own podcast, so stay tuned, I can update this video and put like a podcast quarterly faves. So I'll kind of tell you the podcasts I really enjoy, and maybe a few particular episodes from a few that you can check out. I'll start with my most favorite podcasts of all, which are by a podcast company called Crooked Media. And if you don't like politics and or if you have very conservative leaning politics, not sure if these are for you, so just fast forward. If you're super into like Donald Trump, these are not for you. Personally, I'm not that into Donald Trump, so these are very much for me. My favorite shows from Crooked Media are Pod Save America. So Pod Save America is hosted by four different dudes. They come in at different times, but they talk about politics. They talk about what's going on in the news in general. And what's really helped me in 2017, with it being such a shite sort of year, has been to like inject some humor into the state of the world. And so they do a really great job of mixing in kind of serious, but then also lightening it up and making kind of like sometimes boring topics fun. So I really like Pod Save America. And then Love It or Leave It is an offshoot of Pod Save America. One of the guys from Pod Save started his own podcast, and it is wonderful. It's super funny. It's more of a panel type scenario where he brings in other comedians and other people that are involved in politics and the news to kind of chat and go over lots of different things. They play a lot of really funny games. It's a really light-hearted sort of podcast, and that one is filmed in front of a live audience, so that's another little tidbit. They have a podcast coming out. They have several other ones, but they have one coming out with a female host whose name is Erin Gloria Ryan, and I'm really excited about that one because she is so hilarious. So I'll definitely be reviewing that podcast when it comes out for sure. My classic favorites are, you know, NPR podcasts. I think they do a really good job, and they just have such a variety of types of podcasts. Like I love This American Life, obviously, because I truly believe in the power of stories and storytelling. And so I just think This American Life is a beautiful podcast. If you're not familiar with NPR, or you're just starting to listen to podcasts, it's a great place to start. They have so many that are just winners, super winners. The podcast that I love to wake up to is called The Daily. So The Daily is produced by the New York Times. It's hosted by Michael Barbaro. And Michael Barbaro has the most relaxing, nerdy voice. I love it. He basically covers one central topic of the day, something usually news driven, and then kind of brings in some experts or people to talk about it, but then does like a little overall wrap up of the news as well. It's a great 20-minute long, about 15 to 20 minute long little snippet. It really sets my day up for kind of knowing the big story that's going on. I really, really enjoy it. It also doesn't feel scary or heavy, even when the news is not wonderful, which it kind of never is these days. But definitely it doesn't feel like a jarring way to wake up. It's a nice kind of intro into the day. So I really enjoy The Daily when I'm having my coffee and getting out of bed. As for female-led podcasts, I'm going to actually do a whole nother video on female-led podcasts, and I'm gonna do a whole nother video on people of color-led podcasts, but that's a separate video. As for my female-led podcast that I love, I really, really enjoy my friend Este's podcast, Estee Lalonde. It's called The Heart of It, and it is just, it's so special. She talks about issues affecting women. She talks about everything from strength to feminism. She kind of covers a little topic every day or every episode, and I've enjoyed it so much. And I will say, sometimes I have trouble listening to people's voices on podcasts because I find their voice to be annoying. Este's voice is so relaxing to listen to that I really enjoy it. And she's a dear friend, and I know how much joy and passion she's put into that project. So I definitely think you should check it out. And then 2 other ones that are hosted by women, groups of women. So 2 Dope Queens and Call Your Girlfriend. And I really, really enjoy those podcasts. It's just so funny, and it's like hearing women just be truly vibrant and funny is just, it's exciting. It's really exciting. I would love to know what you guys like listening to as well. So please feel free, once this video is over, to put your favorites in the comment box. One particular episode of a podcast that it like struck me. I listened to it probably 8 months ago, and I'm still thinking about it. So if that tells you anything, it's a podcast called Love and Radio. It's a great podcast in general, but the episode I'm talking about specifically and that I would recommend to you to start out on is called The Living Room. And it's just a beautiful, sad, emotional kind of episode. So I genuinely think that you all would probably love it. So definitely check that out. And like I said, the more kind of podcasts I get into and have time to listen to, I will definitely be sharing those here. There's too many to name. So stay tuned for those updates, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you go and check out those podcasts and let me know what you think. All right, bye guys.